Lions, welcome. How y'all doing? We're gonna get started here. Incredible day today. Firehouse energy coming in today. Lions Den, as always. Good to see Billy right there. First face I see. I love that. Great energy right away. Who do we else got in the room here? We got Keyshawn in the house. Sydney's in the house. We got Robert coming in. Love it, gentlemen. Tristan, I see you, man, my man. David's in the house. Aaron Bolden's about to come in right here. I see him. JCB on top of that, please and thank you. Make sure that everyone's coming in. We got a lot in store today. It's Lions Den is Lions Den. Every week we evolve. Every week we get more strategic. Every week we start to develop ourselves in every single way we can. When we start to understand the development that it takes, this is so powerful to understand as a lion. So as the lions start to come in, y'all are about to understand. Welcome, Lions. For those of you that are coming here for the first time, I want to say welcome, Lions. For those of you that are veterans in the room, my guys, that's what we do. We show up every single week. We have a commitment to ourselves, and that's what it comes down to. Last week was very, very powerful because last week we talked a lot about understanding community, finding community, the right community, then being able to have the right pitch. Because if you have the right community, it's always good, but having the right pitch now is how you can actually intersect that community. And then, of course, it's a system in place. How are you managing? How are you containing the people that you shake hands with? Today, we're going to talk a little bit about that handshake as well, too. Today, we're going to decode a little bit more. But I'm always challenging y'all, and I'm going to challenge y'all again, as I always do. Last week, I gave this challenge, and I want to make sure that we set it in precedent again, is that get that 60-second pitch ready. This 60-second pitch that you have to be who you are, what you do, and how you do it could be very crucial in any room. I'm starting to realize that a lot more. So getting more and more clear on what that is in 60 seconds is, again, a challenge that I put in force at the beginning of the call so y'all can think about it throughout the call, because I want y'all to come in at the end of the call and be able to maybe share that and be able to experience that and get feedback on that and maybe potentially find a client, find an investor, find somebody that can actually connect. So today we're going to get involved. Gentlemen, for those that are coming in, welcome. Like I said, we focus on 3 simple words here at the Lions Den: brotherhood, blessings, and breakthroughs. Brotherhood is the bond between men. The only time you look down at another man is when you're picking him back up. The blessings come from above. The blessings come from within yourself. Whatever you believe, you must believe. Otherwise, it won't work. And of course, the breakthroughs. Maybe something I say tonight, maybe something another lion says tonight, but be seeking for those breakthroughs. Be looking for something, one sentence, one connection that could change the trajectory of your life. Now, I want to do a quick little check-in. I always like to see who's in the room. Of course, we got Timothy Turner in the house. We got Robert Brooks coming in. We got Ruben. Oh, my man, Ruben. He just turned on his screen at the same time right now. We got Aaron Bolden in the house. We got Felipe coming in from somewhere in the world. I'll tell you right now. I think he's in Brazil right now, but who knows, man. This guy's just remixing some craziness, and I love it. I love that energy. I messaged you on that one. His tracks are getting crazy, guys. You guys got to check him out. I tell you right now. And we got, who else we got here in the house? We got Zachary in the house. We got Tristan coming in, man. We got a lot of guys coming in, and I love that. Guys, today's going to be interesting because today I want to go a little bit different. I want to go a little bit deeper into what we've been learning the last couple of weeks, but I want to really give some real tangible, tactful ways that not only can we just get into that right community, right? We're in the right community. Every line on the call is in the right community right now. We all know that. Getting the pitch right is what I'm helping you start to construct. How do you get that 60-second pitch? Whether it's like Keyshawn trying to make money, he's trying to hustle, he's trying to raise capital. He's trying to put capital together, right? That's a pitch that you can have that can strategically place you in the right community to find that. But of course, it's a system too. Yes, it is a system. How are you maintaining them? But today we're going to go a little bit deeper on how do we actually connect? Like, what are some of the things that we should be looking for to figure out if somebody's a friend or if somebody's a foe? Because in this world that we fucking live in right now, gentlemen, authenticity is the scarcest resource, and everybody's out there to screw you over. Everyone's either to make a deal, you buy my product. They're there to screw you over because you're vulnerable. They're there to take advantage. But how can we decode that? How can we look for signals and signs that will allow us to understand when somebody's a friend and when somebody's a foe? Today, we're going to go into that. Today, we're going to decode that a little bit. I got some notes for you guys today because this is some of the knowledge that I've been able to learn over the years. And it's not about my background. It's not about my history. What it is about, though, is what can you leave with? What can you tactfully utilize in this call specifically that's going to help you now build better relationships with those around you? That's what we're going to really decode today and really give you some real good tangibles. And I like looking at it. It's like, we connect because we're lions. Every lion on this call, I see Marcin Rumen in the house, man. Like that man is the connector. He is a connector. He's connecting. He's a lion. He's out there. He's putting, I got connected with Gary Cardone because of that man right there. Like Marcin's like, hey, by the way, you should connect with one of my clients, man. We should connect you up. And I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, it's just Gary Cardone, Grant Cardone's brother. I was like, oh. Ended up getting on a podcast with him, going out and chilling out at his birthday in March this year. It was incredible. One connection, guys. That's what I keep explaining, right? So we connect, but it's whether it's one-to-one, whether it's one-to-many. Maybe you want to be on stage. Maybe you want to be able to actually speak your business or your story out to the world. Regardless of one-to-one or one-to-many, the most important thing is how we connect nowadays authentically is so important. It's, if not the most important. It's what's going to actually now change the next generation on who the real leaders are for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Some crazy things that are going on in the world. I'm going to touch base a little bit on that with some of the leaders and power figures and everything like that. But it's incredible to see now how much authenticity is being put on the spotlight and how much we now need to embrace ourselves, our fucking lion energy. The energy that makes us who we are as men every single day to deal with the shit that we deal with without being able to vocalize it. Because we were never taught that, were we? We were never able to talk about what our emotions were and how we felt. It was like rub some dirt in it, be a fucking man. But how can we now bring that together in a group like this and actually talk about tangibles, tactful ways that we can take resources and then go apply them to the real world? Now, how many of us, now I'm just going to kind of do this as like a question for y'all, right? What you guys on the call that have, like cameras on, I respect that a lot. How many of us have ever been in a conversation? We've been in a conversation with somebody and for some reason, something inside of us just felt like you just couldn't trust that person. Like whether it was a sixth sense, whether it was, just that intuition, that gut feeling. And I'm talking about specifically, I'm talking about like, it could have been a client. It could have been a salesman that was trying to sell you. It could have been a wife or the woman that you're trying to pick up. It could have been a friend or even a business partner, regardless of who that person is. It could even be family, friends. Those are the sneakiest ones, I tell you, because family and friends, they love you. They want the best for you, but they don't know what's best for you. So when you're dealing with people all the time and you have that feeling, how many of us have felt that? Just don't trust you. Just something. Right? What's so interesting about that is that what is that? What is that actual feeling? If we could decode that feeling, what would that feeling be? Well, that feeling is actually logically perspected as the incongruency between what you see and what you hear. That's what it is. It's the incongruency between what you see in human behavior and what you hear. Now, for example, imagine just giving somebody a gift. Right, you give them a gift and they're opening it up. They're like, oh, okay. They start ripping open the packaging and she opens it up and she goes, it's beautiful. Now, which one did you believe? What I said or what you saw? That's how powerful body language is. That's how powerful nonverbals are. We are so focused on what we say all the time. Can I get the right sales pitch? Can I say the right words? Can I put it together? Can I articulate like Jay on screen? No, it has nothing to do with that. What it does have to do with, though, is decoding body language signals that allow you to understand when somebody is a friend or foe-like state. Now, when we get into this, I want to break this down here for you guys. What do we look for? Because we've all had conversations. Billy and I met, at Meat Market. It was a simple conversation. It was a simple conversation. He was standing there, I was sitting, and all of a sudden turned around. And I was like, oh, hey, what's going on? One quick handshake, and all of a sudden, Billy's been a brother. Right? What do we look for, though, to actually know that somebody's a friend or a foe? How do we dictate that? How do we know when real, positive, true, pure intention is coming at us versus the negative one. So again, what do we look for? First impressions matter, don't they? Do you believe first impressions matter? Do you understand that it takes 7 seconds? And I will actually break this down to 4 seconds. It takes 4 seconds, 4 seconds for your body to understand. 4 seconds from your brain perception to look at somebody for the first time and already have a perception on them, which means what? Which means we create a tablet. It's like literally like a tablet that we walk around with all day, every day. We walk around with this tablet. And that tablet is our likability metrics. It's the way that we view, is she hot? Is she not? We have this self-judging mindset that's already conditioned and built from within. So we have to start to understand ourselves. How do we now take the 4 seconds and what do we look for in the first 4 seconds? Well, our brain psychologically does this. Do I like you? Do I trust you? Am I willing to do business with you? And who do you remind me of? Those are the 4 questions. Within 4 seconds, our brain will ask ourselves. And the who to do business with is now in this era. Before this, you can replace that one, not business-wise. If you're talking about personal, you replace the third one of can I do business with you in terms of are you safe? A lot of women will have that one. Are you safe? Do I like you? Do I trust you? Are you safe? And who do you remind me of? 4 seconds it takes our brain to answer those 4 questions. That's how powerful our mind is. You know, I remember this when I was able to be, when I was back home in Calgary, I should say, because I love Tampa. I love the America, the America. See, I sounded so Indian right there. I love it. But the America here has given me such a beautiful, beautiful sacred ground here. But before this, when I was running all my real estate projects up in Canada, being able to go out into a bar and be able to sit down with a gentleman, and some of you have heard this story, and shake a hand and be able to raise $1 million within 2 beers. $1 million raised for a real estate commercial project that we were working on there. Retail strip mall development is my backbone. And what did that take? That took 4 seconds of him understanding if I was real or not. And then being able to ask certain questions and me being able to filter through. And by the second beer, I was able to raise that $1 million. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 the project continued and everything went forward. 4 seconds make a difference. So go ahead and ask yourself the next time that you encounter somebody, do you ask yourself those questions? Are you aware that those questions are being answered within 4 seconds? It's my first powerful point for you guys. And the takeaway that I want you to really understand is set a baseline. Set a baseline for yourself. We meet people all the time. Marcin is the guru at this. I'll tell you right now. He calls them coffee. I don't even know what you call them. Coffee breaks, coffee lunches. He's just a connector. He's just in that moment to just have a coffee. Hey, let's go have a lunch. That's setting your baseline. Setting your baseline is getting consistent with that energy. You see, he's created a repetition and a routine. He's created something now for him to be able to sit down over a coffee and know how to interact with somebody, how to connect with them, how to put him in touch with another person, and how to truly create a mutual benefit. That's power energy right there. That's what it takes to create a baseline for your communication so that you can consistently get that repetition in. That repetition. We do this in business all the time. We're selling a product. We're in the insurance space. We're in the real estate space. We're always engaging, but you have to create a baseline so that you can measure against it. Now, you might be asking me, you're like, okay, Jay, I love this. It's all good, body language communication, right? That's what the topic is today. So what do I actually look for? What do I actually look for? If I'm having a conversation with somebody, what would I specifically be looking for? Because first impressions matter, Jay. I get that. And that makes sense because my mindset is yes, first impressions matter. But what do I actually physically look for now in the human behavior? Well, this is interesting now because Albert Membrane in the 1980s, he said that communication is a component of 3 things: verbal, nonverbal, and body language. And when he broke that down, he said, body language is actually 55% of communication, nonverbals, and body language being our energy, our face-to-face, our actual, our reactions and our gestures, like we're going to talk about. 38% now is the nonverbals. It's the tonality, the pitch, the volume, the duration in the way that I can actually speak now to put character to my voice instead of just being monotone. Like if I was just standing in front of you guys right now and just going like, hey, guys, Lions Den, man, this is incredible. This is going to be a really cool episode. I'm going to teach you guys some cool stuff. Y'all are going to be able to connect, and it's going to be incredible. Who's down? Yeah. Changes the pace when you start to actually articulate, start to actually put energy behind what you want to say, using the hand gestures, using the vocal capacity, and let alone only 7% is just the verbals. We're all freaking about what we're going to say. And if we were on a stage and if somebody handed us a microphone and we would rather die versus public speak, nah. It's about understanding logic. And when it comes to logic, now look, what do we look at now? 55% is body language, right? Body gestures. Did you know that 40 muscles on your face, half of them are located right here. So if I just completely go right here like this, you won't be able to see really much of my reactions, minus maybe just my eyebrows moving a little bit, but you really can't see much. Half of our muscles are located right here. So what you really want to pay attention to is gestures and facial reaction. Now, gestures, let's look at this from a cultural standpoint. And Felipe, you can talk to me a little bit about culture here for a second, for sure, because this in America, what is this? This means good, right? It means absolutely. Yeah, you go to parts of Europe and you go like this, and that might just be up yours. That might be a complete different signal. Yeah. You go like this in the Americas, and what does this look like? What do y'all think this looks like? Okay, good job, amazing, okay, right? Like you go to places like France, and this means zero, nothing, absolute garbage. This is how powerful body language, the most universal language in the world, is. Because it does not matter what you really speak. I connect with people that are my Uber drivers, that are my cleaners, that are people coming in and they speak Spanish. They don't speak the language. They have no idea what English is. I've been to India. I've been to so many different places in the world where they don't speak the same, even though I'm Indian. I don't fluently speak Punjabi. I can understand it, but I can't speak it back. So guess what? What's going to happen? Body language. I got to be able to utilize what I have right here, which is 55%. It's more than half. So when we start to understand gestures and thumbs up and okays and these different things, hands are a very, very important part. The way you quickly decipher people that are being deceitful, how much are they touching their face? You see, what happens is that when people start to lie, the lie detecting test, the whole point of lie detecting test was basically just to be able to understand your heart rate and the elevated heart rate. Guess what happens though, is that they create baseline. And when they create a baseline of answering, hey, when was your birthday? March 26th. Hey, what's your favorite color? Red. Okay, so what's your favorite car? Audi R8. Okay, they've created a baseline now. You see that? And now when did you kill that person? And I'm like, no, I didn't. There's a spike. Because there's an obsolete factor in the heart rate that goes up and down to dictate if the heartbeat monitor is catching it for the lie. So when we look at this, guys, we have to start understanding when we're actually connecting and communicating with other people out there, we have to start looking at hand gestures specifically, because what we tend to do is this. Why? Because our ears and our nose are actually made from cartilage, which means there's thousands of tiny blood vessels that are inside my nose and inside the bottom of my earlobes right now. So at any moment where my heart rate starts to increase, just like the lie detector test, guess what's going to happen? Oh, I'm going to get a little itchy right here. Oh. The first thing that you should look for when deciphering somebody that's going to be deceitful towards you is the amount that they touch their face. On average, we do touch our face a lot. 40 times in an hour. That's over 1 time a minute. So when we start to understand that, remember, there has to still be a baseline. You can't just be like, just because he itched his nose right now, that means he's lying. But be careful on this, because a lot of people will do this instinctively, subconsciously. Something to look for. Another thing that I want you to look for is the feet. The feet give you a lot of positioning because the feet are the furthest away from the brain. And it's truly where the heart wants to go. This is a very, very interesting fact that I've learned, is that your feet will be positioned. If somebody's feet are positioned towards an exit, a door, or a window, that means they want to get out of the conversation. Write that one down. That's a powerful one. Just by analyzing the feet, because it's the lowest part of the body for your brain to understand and your heart to really actually feel, what happens is like, I'm shifted, I'm there, I want to exit right now. So if you can pick up on that, that's another communication tactic that you can use. And the last one that I really want to give you guys is that good old touch. Like, when was the last time you touched another person? And not the way to get to an HR department, guys. And not the other opposite way either. I'm talking about having a man's handshake. Having a handshake. The handshake is one of the most common things that's known for business, but it can mean so many different things in so many different cultures across the world. You see, a handshake here is, in the Western countries, is I'm standing with firmness, and I'm gonna look you in the eye, and I'm gonna shake your hand with firm. But overseas, looking a man in the eyes is maybe not so polite. So understanding cultural difference of what a handshake means is so important. Now, here's the key tip to this, is that we all walk into a handshake. Which one is on top? Just picture it right now. Picture yourself. I like doing this live. It's better when we can do it live, because you guys are all at home right now. When you get into a handshake, are you the one that's going like this? Or are you the one that's going like this? Where did the old saying come from, having the upper hand? Just like arm wrestling is done, when you win, you are on top. You'll see this very famously with politicians on how powerful they are. When you see a Trump meeting someone, and it's like the way that Trump grabs him and pulls him in and does another tap on top of it. Because when somebody is on the top hand, now it's time to adjust. It's time to equal out the balance of power. Handshakes are very powerful. And the one key that I always give, especially if you guys are networking, because I know you guys are networking guys, never, ever hold your drink in your right hand. Always hold it in your left hand. What's the worst thing that you can do? Try to wipe your hand or try to change drinks and be like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? No, always have your right hand dry and be able to walk up. And the flow of it is to open palm. Open palm means you're open for conversation. And the minute that they put their hand, you level out and you shake. Don't ever be that cocky motherfucker that's the one on top. Don't be it. It's not going to help you. You'll learn that long term. But these are some signals that you can look for specifically when people are coming up to you and they're interacting with you. They're communicating with you. They want to get to know you. This is what true networking is. Not just going to events and going to conferences and saying, oh, I was at a networking event. It's like, what did you get out of that event? Who did you learn? I don't need to go and get 100 people at an event, but I need three of the best people in that room that could change my world. That sets me up for spending 20 grand to sit front row or whatever it may be. My 10Xers know what that means. But guys, it's great that we can watch others. Looking at other signs and signals are very important because it helps you understand how you should react. But if you really think about it, what can we do? What can we do as men now to better our communication, better our way of being able to articulate, but also truly connect authentically, like I've been saying? Here's 3 things that I want us to just fucking stop. Men are guilty for these, and I'll tell you right now, we need to stop these 3 things. So if you're taking notes right now, I need you to write these 3 things down no matter what. This is probably the golden notes of it all. First thing is, stop talking loud. Women do not like that. We are energetic beings. I get excited. I'm like, holy shit, man, let's go, man. I'm pumped up. Guess what? That's aggression. That's aggression. We don't realize that. We don't think that way because I'm just excited, baby. Like, what's going on? She's like, whoa, 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 like you're bringing back traumas. I'm like, damn, what do you mean I'm bringing back traumas? Like, shit, you know? But it's true because the thing is that we don't understand that our volume and our actual energy and our masculine vibe actually will outpower. We will, and we use our voice because it's easy. We get angry and we get stern and we want to be focused. Our language changes. So the first thing I'll say is stop talking so loud. I was sitting with the CEO. The CEO, okay, we were sitting at what were we sitting at? It wasn't at Boulogne here. It was at another Predalina just down the street here. And we were sitting at Predalina. We're sitting down having a conversation. I didn't know he was CEO, but I ended up realizing that he was CEO after I connected with him. But dude, like this guy, like we're at the bar. We're at the bar. I'm like, he's yelling, like he's trying to get his points across. And we're just having a normal conversation. I had to interrupt him, and I was like, just chill, man. Chill on the volume. He's like, oh, he was unaware of it. He was unaware. So it's not that he did anything wrong, but he was completely unaware of the fact that he was actually yelling at the bar. And I'm like, yo, just tone it down. Bro. The bartenders are kind of looking over a little bit and stuff like that. I was like, just tell. He's like, oh, what? What do you mean? I was like, look, this is what I do for a living. And, I help people really master the way they think, speak, and connect. And I would just say, like, tone the volume down just a little bit and it's going to help. And then he did. And as soon as he did, like I felt more receptive to his conversation. I was sitting there uncomfortable. I'm feeling for the bartender that's looking over at him going like, why is he yelling at my bar? Is he too drunk? I only gave him like a drink. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. But then all of a sudden he toned it down and you could feel that energy change. You could feel him be even more confident in his own space. So I test you guys this week. I test you whenever you're in that angry like mindset or even excited. It's okay to feel it. Remember, stress and excitement are the exact same amount of brain frequency that you release. It's just a matter of your conscious mind determining which one it is. So when you're out there this week, I want you to just listen to yourself. I want you to truly listen to yourself. Whether you're talking to the spouse or you're with the team or you're talking to a client or you're just meeting somebody random on the street. Listen to the way that you actually vocalize and that volume based on what you actually feel. Now, the second thing that I want to say is stop touching so much. Gents, like I get that we're very primal, right? And most of the lions on here are gentlemen. I'll say that. So we understand that. But how many times do I see people touching too much? Like getting too close. Like especially with women. Like you can't, like just because a woman is letting you into her barrier because she's coming here giving you a hug or something like that, that doesn't mean you take an extra 3 seconds to fucking grope her. Like, you know what I mean? You don't do that shit. Like you have to take the time in understanding someone's space. I sit at the bar a lot downstairs with Ric Flair and a couple of these guys. Ric Flair is a really, really cool one because Ric Flair likes his space. Like he's a famous dude. Like he's got people coming up to him all the time. Hey, can I take a picture with you? Oh my God, you're whoop. Like the whole shebang. Like it happens every single time. You know what I mean? And we just sit there and we're just like, hey, shit, I guess we're his entourage. It's all good. It works. But it's just like when that moment is happening, people like their space. Man or woman, people like their space. So respect boundaries. Understand when to come close and when to pull back out. When to be right in front of somebody and when to actually just take a step back. I remember telling Ruben about this, and he runs a solar agency and it's incredible, massive one here, ProTech. And it's cool because we were talking to his team and we were telling his team as well too, like when you walk up to a front door, right, you're door knocking, man, you got probably less than 4 seconds. You don't even get the first impression now at this point. It's like they look at you through the blind first, if they even want to look at you. And if they open that door, yeah, you got about like literally 3 to 4 seconds. Otherwise, that door is slammed in your face. So the one tactic that I gave them as door-to-door sales guys is like, yo, when you ring on that doorbell, right, create that attention, create that buzz, and then just take a couple steps back. Just take a couple steps back and keep your hands visible. Don't put your hands behind your back. Don't be like this, even though, that's a common code. No, keep your hands visible. Hold a clipboard. You're giving someone access. You're giving someone authority to analyze and understand and instinctively trust you before you even speak to them. This is powerful. So stop touching so much. Gentlemen, that was the second point. My third one is my favorite one, right? This is one we're so famous for as men, because it's our ego. Fair enough. We got big egos. Gents, it is what it fucking is. You know what I mean? You got to learn how to understand it. You got to learn how to like be right with it. And it can actually take you to some incredible levels, because when it turns from egotistical mindset into true confidence, that's where life actually becomes what it needs to be. But this last rule here is stop thinking you know it all. Stop thinking that you have all the answers and that you know more and that the other person is not going to add value to you and they don't have any product or service that will serve you, and that I don't really care what you really have to say, because in that moment right now, you are going to restrict and shut off opportunities in a heartbeat without looking twice. I've done this multiple times in my career, in my life, in the last 10 years. I have fucked up so many times just on this rule alone, because I had a great education and I was able to learn from some of the best, and I was able to spend millions of dollars on personal development. I was able to transact $1 million deals. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. In those moments that I was thinking that I was better and bigger and smarter than anybody else was the worst moments of my life that came as karma up the ass. It was brutal. It was brutal. Because for the time, it's great. For the time, you're on the fucking top of the world. I closed the deal. I did all this, and great. But that's not going to ever serve you long term, because when I realized some of the things that I got myself involved in my young years of thinking that I was better, gang wars, being arrested more times than I can count. Like, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've had handcuffs on my hands. I wish I could. Many of you might not even believe that, but I'll tell you right now, you better believe it, because there's a lot more than that. And when it was failed relationships, I was engaged. I'm beautifully with my woman now, about to get re-engaged, but I was engaged before. I was destined to be in love with a woman and fall my entire life with her, have babies with her. I have failed relationships. I have failed business. I have failed a lot. A lot. And what it ultimately came down to from my failure was, shut the fuck up, Jay. It's not your plan. It's God's plan. You better step up before you get taken out. And that's what I want us to really understand, is these 3 rules that I just shared with you guys are my experience. They're my core, because it's the things that I've been able to go through that have given me this insight. And that's why I love sharing this. This is why we do what we do. I love coming on this call every single week and being able to just give value in any aspect I can based on my experiences, but also getting y'all involved. You know, this is why the Lions Den, 2 years ago, I can't believe it's 2 years now. 2 years ago, this call started Thursday at 6 p.m. at that time, 2 years ago. And ever since then, every single week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Now we switched to 8 p.m. because we're really getting a lot more of the Pacific, the west side, I should say. Got my Bolden in the house, got Mr. Brown in the house. We got the west side coming in, and it's because I want this to grow. I want us men to really feel empowered, but not just feel empowered, not just get on a call and be fucking motivated. I need you guys to have tactful ways that you can take on your week, that you can utilize the things that I've said today, and to go and look for those things, to truly look for those body language signs. Go have that with the conversation right after the call. Go up to the wifey and be like, I want to analyze her in my head. Go up to that business partner, see if he's legit. Go up to the people that are connecting with you as clients, and don't do business with people just because they're giving you fucking money. It's the worst thing you can do. We're in such a scarce world right now. We're like, oh, money's going to solve everything. Guess what? So you're willing to do business with somebody that's maybe going to screw you over long term and probably kill you 10 times over because you want to make a paycheck today? Huh? Like, you could if you were desperate, fair enough. If you don't got money in hand and you got to do that, great. But guess what? It's going to come 10 times worse later on. So it's just a matter of which battle do you want to pick. And when we start to understand this, this is why the Lions Den was brought together, to empower us brothers. It was to empower us brothers, to bring us together and actually have a right medium. A weekly call like this, a monthly, quarterly meetup, an annual retreat that we're getting ready for in Las Vegas. We're going to be shooting guns and racing cars and doing all the manly things that we can, but also developing ourselves. Some of the lions in here, some of my clients that are on this call right now will tell you more than even I can about what the difference that it can make by personally growing yourself outside of even just the business structure. I'll give you business strategy. I'll scale the company, the consulting, boom, done. But what it takes for you to wake up every single morning and have the right mindset, but the clear mindset and the worth that you own in yourself as the man that you are, the lion that you're fucking roaring to become, and the real king that you deserve to be. I just want to give a personal experience on this. It's crazy because when I'm in my relationship, like I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm the guy, I'm a speaker, I'm all this. But it's like, she comes to me with certain situations where she's like, I'm having this day, or I'm dealing with this. And I like, all of a sudden I go into coach mode. I'm like, oh, baby, hold on. Let me explain to you exactly what needs to happen. See, what you did was wrong there. And actually you did that right. And if you had played this course of action, she's like, Jay, like, just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need coaching right now. I just need you to listen. That's it. This is where us men, we get a little ahead of our game because, well, I'm the protector. I'm the provider. Baby, what's going wrong? I'm here to solve the issue. I'm the hero to your world. I'm the knight in shining armor. We get into this mindset because it's instinctive for us to do that, especially as real fucking men. So when they come and they bring problems to us, we're like, I got to solve this problem. But sometimes it's like they don't want the problem solved. They might be bitching about something or complaining about that, but they just actually need you to just have some present time action and sit there and nod and just be like, yeah, baby, tell me more. Tell me more. And how did that make you feel? And what did that do? Oh, what did she say? Oh no. How did that make you feel? Remember, guys, don't ever ask why questions. Why questions will land you down the rabbit hole. Always ask what and how. That's from a sales perspective. That's from a woman perspective. That's from a communication standpoint. There's another golden nugget for you that I'll write no notes down right now. What's and hows. What did that do for you? How did that make you feel? And what's that going to do? And how is that going to make you feel? Boom, boom, boom. You will so quickly be able to fact find, qualify, and get to the original cause of what that person is actually looking for as a pain point versus trying to be like, well, why do you want to make money in life? It's like, oh, Lord, because of this. And then when I was 14, I did this. And now I want this and da, da, da. Get away from those why questions. So thank you, Ruben, for bringing that point up, because that's a really good point that we really need to understand and hone in on, is that ability for us to sometimes go overboard, not use the 2 ears and the 1 mouth that God gave us, right? Be in a situation where you're starting to understand that, guess what? I don't need to touch. I don't need to get too close. Proximity makes a difference. Proximity can actually make somebody feel uncomfortable, and it can make them feel comfortable if you can. And ultimately, just start to understand the vocals. Understand the volume, understand the pitch, understand the ways that you can actually, again, put character to your voice, because we are men. And as much as we just are rah, 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 we have souls, we have emotions, we feel shit, and we want to be successful. We want to make money. We want to feel proud. We want to do the things the right way. We want to listen and get the right advice. We want to be plugged into the right communities, and we want to connect and collaborate with like-minded brothers. So, gentlemen, I want to say this. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you that decided to take the time today for 1 hour to be on this call, to not only develop yourself, but to truly uncage that fucking roar that I know you have inside of you. That king that's waiting to really be reborn. They say that the 2 most precious times in your life are the minute that you're born and the minute that you find out why. This is our chance as brothers to come together now, to focus on brotherhood, focus on the blessings, and focus on the breakthroughs. So God bless everyone tonight. Thank you all for showing up. For those of you that are going to be watching this in the recording, y'all missed a good live one. I will tell you that now. And we will see you next week on the Lion's Den every Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. Okay,